Hi again, everyone. I'm Pete Saxby, Director of Bókun from Asia and Pacific region. Thank you for joining me for the next in the series of Coffee with Bókun, where we invite operators from the region to join us to share their thoughts and insights. Obviously, with COVID-19 pandemic on everyone's minds, we hope this series will give the community an insight on how other Bókun suppliers are coping and doing their best to protect their businesses at this time. Today, I'm delighted to introduce TY Soon, founder and CEO of Whooper Group, who operate here in Singapore. TY, thank you so much for joining us for this Coffee with Bókun.
We were going strength to strength till 2 months back, where everything just crashes down. And I think there was a lot of disappointments, especially within my own team, myself. We really had big plans for this turn of the new decade. I think it's not just myself. I think everyone, when it changes to 2020, everyone is kind of thinking, hey, this is a new 10 years. What do we want to achieve of it? And my plans for Whooper Travel or Monster Day Tour was like, hey, let's make sure this decade is one to remember. And it is really 1 year to remember for all of us, having started the way we,
Exactly.
we started, right? Yeah, so I think in Singapore, obviously, we were hit quite early because we are in Asia. We have already been in this situation, I would say it's close to 10 weeks, 11 weeks. Yeah, so our first cancellation started very, very early in the early February. And things started going downhill from there. And we were really concerned and worried at that point in time. I think where everyone could be really facing the same emotions right now. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
really had to hustle, we started discussing about, business continuity plan, uh, all that common topics, about cutting costs. How do we keep our staff? What about rent and stuff like that? So that was really our immediate concern, even we talk about whether, uh, do we go back to the normal of things of improving tours or coming out with tour product. That really wasn't in the back of our mind when the whole situation started. The first thing we really embarked on was like updating the whole our operation and booking system. We had the early problem of like a currency differences. Like we were on TripAdvisor, we were using Bókun, but a lot of things was actually denominated in USD instead of SGD. So we had a lot of all these exchange currency issues, and we thought that, hey, why not we use then these opportunities to really pull down every product, update the pricing and then put it on back again, because that would have virtually be not possible during the active operational period, because you will be so afraid to take down your products and you're saying that, hey, what if someone wants to book it, right? But then right now it's like, hey, we know no one is going to book any tours, so why not let's just do that? And it really gave us the chance, right? Because we have about like 8 to 9 tours on the platform itself, and we actually managed to like revamp everything, disconnect, update the prices, connect it back. It took us about 2 weeks. Yeah, and
Nice.
having done that exercise, it really also allows our team to think through our products. Like we were just figuring out, hey, whether this product does really well, and hey, this product has been sitting so long there, we are just holding it for I don't know for what, you know, and it
Oh,
finally comes to the hard decision of saying that, hey guys, this product is just not working. Right, so let's stop wasting our time on it. Let's just pull it down, right? And yeah, so we kind of like declutter, right? The word I would really use right here in this situation, what we are doing is trying to declutter. It's just that the very first thing that we were doing was on the product, because we were still optimistic back then. We thought, the situation maybe 2 months, and then we could get back into action. So we didn't think that far. But obviously, when we move into the sixth or the fifth or the 6 month, we knew that the situation was going to be much longer, than anticipated. So we say, okay, guys, since the products are all updated and refreshed, why not let's start doing something about our accounting system. We say, after the next process, you get tours in, then my finance has to deal with everything, and then we say, hey, I think we can now switch to a better accounting system, because like we have been growing, and sales has been a lot, and then and I think my finance team didn't really grow to be able to manage a lot of all these sales and booking. So we all got together and then say, hey, how about switching to a new accounting system? How do we actually take this more booking more efficiently? How do we do things like accounting and cash reconciliation much better? Yeah, and then again we took another 2 weeks to fix that. Yeah,
Right.
so imagine we shift everything from last year all the way into like this year, and luckily this year has just passed about 2 months, 3 months. There wasn't a lot of too much data for us to transfer, but it took us a good 2 weeks. Even until now, we are still actually doing work on the accounting system. Yes, obviously, like we that has always like sit on the back of my mind as a to-do list, but we never ever tick it off. Yeah, so that gives us a lot of time, and I would say now we are actually in our third phase of this whole reorganization, this whole decluttering, where we are really doing a sort of like new rebranding exercise. Yeah, where we just sit together and then we ask ourselves, what is our purpose of the company? What is our rethink, our mission and our vision? Because I think on Bókun especially, or right now, a lot of tour operators, we came into the industry not too long. Tours was never traditionally a big thing, especially in Asia. Yeah, and in the context of Singapore, because it's a very much attraction-based country, a lot of people probably, especially the long distance traveler, they look at Singapore as more of a transit destination. The tours are not really that focused, but of course, in the coming years, a lot of us have stepped out. A lot of like-minded business owners, tour guides, tour operator, like myself. We thought that there were a lot of experience in Singapore that are really worth showcasing to the rest of the world. And we started acting on this. But I think when we started this business, it was really much through passion, right? A lot of things is like, hey, we love doing this. We just love talking to people, meeting new friends, promoting about our own country, that we never thought of it as like being a big business or a big company.
Yeah.
But I think now is the time where there's really time to say, hey, if we get through this crisis, we can actually move from being a small business to actual, proper company. Yeah, right. Because
Right.
they always say like whatever business you can get through crisis, you definitely grow, you definitely mature, and that was what I shared with the team. Like I see this really as an opportunity for us to grow, and of course, if prolonged, it will put us, of course, in a lot of uncertainty. But if done correctly, I really think that it brings us to the next stage. So we are really doing a lot of work, including this rebranding exercise to get ready for the recovery. Like for example, my sales and operational operation team, they don't have much to do right now. So what we really told each of my team members was, why not we try to learn about what the other side of the business is about. For example, now my sales side is more aware of what the finance side is actually doing, in terms of the whole work process. We bring through them like and bits and pieces the whole process, looking at the company much more. And my finance team is actually now picking up skills like digital marketing. Right. So all of them, like we are imparting skills that us as owner, we actually know a bit of everything. And we are using this opportunity to say, hey guys, you guys have the opportunity to learn all this right now. Would you want to learn something different, where you can contribute to the team better, and first of all, we can also focus on doing things that we can do right now. And of course, when the situation recovers, everyone probably goes back to the role, but we will all be kind of better teammates because we understand what each other is doing. Yeah, so we are funneling a lot of all these different skill sets, embarking on different projects right now. As for the tour guides, obviously this is where it touches a little bit of my pain issues lah, or is something that like I feel quite powerless at this time, in terms of for my tour guides, because literally a lot of them they are not having any jobs right now, so they have to really look for what is available up there. But what we have done really for them is we have these applications that we go on. So this application is actually a scheduling tool, and on this tool there is actually kind of like a Facebook, or like a chat bot, where we really post messages. So a lot of things when the government announce new initiative, we will keep them updated. We will let them know like, hey guys, there is this support from the government that could actually potentially help you guys. And for example, if there are upscaling courses and stuff like that, we will send them for it. Well, some of them is sponsored by us. Some of them they do it on their own, and it's through this kind of ways that we are helping one another, encouraging one another to go on, and I think this support of having like a family together, about knowing that each other are in the same position, really helps a lot. Yeah, during this period,
Yeah.
because it gives you the strength and the motivation to say that, hey, someone is there to care about you, there's concern, and I always say like, together we can make something happen. If it's individually, it's always very hard. So I was sharing with my team that obviously I think if the situation recovers, there will still be at least 3 or to 6 months of buffer period before people start traveling again. I think one very important thing that we must understand, travel has always since from the past is kind of like a luxury thing. It's like a comfort thing, and this boils down to how, like, whether someone actually has the money to travel and stuff like that. And this period of time has already led to some unemployment, definitely increased unemployment. People are worried about their jobs, and to be honest, even if the situation recover, I think the first thing in many people's mind is, hey, we want to go back to getting our jobs. We some of them might need to find new jobs. Some of them might have a loss of income for this period. So I am already mentally prepared to say that during this period, that people might not travel as often. But if they do, what are the kind of areas that we should focus on, for example? So, like definitely one thing that is maybe not so much for Singapore, but for the rest of the other bigger nations, is domestic travel. People can still travel domestically. It's not that expensive, and there's still that feeling like, once this thing opens up, people will still want to go back out into the sun, into the environment, the great outdoors. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I still see this as happening, but we need to be very aware of what the consumer behavior and what is their main concern. I think that's one thing that I myself would take note for that. The next thing, obviously, I think there is already a lot of discussion, even among tour operators. This thing about video conferencing. There's a lot of virtual things that's going on the online world. I think there was the older generation, or not the so not the 20s like us. We were not so used to say having everything online. I think right now all of us have to adapt to it, because we are just kind of locked down. Even our parents who are not used to shopping, doing their grocery shopping on online supermarkets, has to do that right now. They have
Yes.
no choice, right? Because there they are very worried, because they're so scared of catching the virus if they go to the supermarket, So they
Yeah.
have no choice. They're like, in fact, my parents are learning from me right now how to use shop on on like Redmart and stuff like that. They're looking at it and then say, hey, how do I actually order and how long does it take? And stuff like that. And it's so amazing to see how human beings actually behave. And I'm quite sure if this thing continue, and all of us are getting so used to a lot of online consumer habits and behavior, is something that us as the tour industry will have to think about, right? A lot of marketing efforts, I think, will be a lot more driven. There has already been a lot of discussion, and I do know there are big travel companies or tour companies trying virtual tours out there, where we do
Yeah.
live feeds and sharing with people. So these are the things that I think there will be new projects or initiatives driving towards that direction. And I myself personally is quite excited. I'm not sure whether the world is ready to accept it, but I'm quite sure this crisis situation would have accelerated their progress. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I would agree.
that's the second points that I have. And I think that the third learning point is I think the businesses will start getting more prepared for any more hiccups that's like this. I think for the past 10 years, we have been enjoying a period of good growth, especially in the tourism industry. I think now it's like kind of a restart for everyone, and we really need to better prepare ourselves in terms of like, hey, if the next crisis come, or if there's a next obstacle that comes, how are we better prepared for it? Yeah, I think it's just
Yeah.
a human nature. Yeah. So that's the few things that I think that will happen after the recovery. I think it is really natural for us to feel a bit fearful, uncertain about the future right now. But what I really want to share with my fellow industry and tour operators is that I think this is the point that you can know and or can understand that there are many others like us on this journey, right? And if there ever needs any help or any collaboration or any partnership, now is really the right time to do so. You know, there like we are definitely there together as a group, as a unit to fight this period together. And I just like my message is really still stay positive, stay strong, leverage on every opportunity out there, be it your own internal operations, the government support, or any other external funds or opportunities you can get. I think now is the time to do it. I think it's still too early to say to give up. And if we can have it, I would definitely urge everyone to come out stronger from this episode. Yeah.